McKinzie Roth. It's week 10 of the college football season. We've got some huge games on tap today in the Hoosier State.
My name is Jason Hammer, and we're going to win so much money today, we're almost going to be able to afford groceries.
Hey everybody, I'm Scott Long, and I just found out Jason's grandpa is named Jack Hammer.
True story.
Wow.
Wow.
And you need to follow us because it's going to happen right here, right now.
Right now.
The old jackhammer.
This is All Indiana Bets, presented for the people, powered by Caesars Sportsbook and Lunazul Tequila. Feed the wolf.
Jackhammer, eh?
Yeah,
That's
my
impressive.
dad, Stone Cold Steve Hammer, and then my great-grandfather, Jack Hammer. True story.
That's incredible.
I wanted to name my firstborn Armand, but my wife wouldn't let me. Armand Hammer.
Good call, girl. Good call. Thank you so much for being with us. As always, we are shocked as you are that we're back, but we're happy that we are. Sun is shining, crispness in the air. It's a beautiful day for football, of course, and a beautiful day to make some money.
It's a beautiful day for football. This is what this show is about. That's the best sport. You know what it's not about? Marathons.
Oh, my
There is a
goodness.
big marathon going right outside the station. It took us like an hour and a half to get in. I mean, it was a nightmare. And the whole time I'm thinking, you'll never see Hammer and I at the marathon, will you?
Usually the best part about these marathons downtown is that that's a shorter line at the Hardee's drive-thru for me. True. Because all the healthy people are down here, and I can get in and out of Hardee's.
Oh, man.
But this was a nightmare today.
Yeah, plan ahead if you're going anywhere downtown Indy. And then I kudos to police officers. I was like, can I just scoot you on through? 'Cause I
They
need to
let
get in.
McKenzie somehow through, did not let the two of us through.
I wonder why.
Oh, but we all made it, and we're glad that you're here too. You ready to start this off? All right, we're going to
Let's
begin with the Boilermakers coming off a huge road win over Nebraska. Purdue set for a showdown with Sparty in West Lafayette this afternoon. Boilers hosting unbeaten and third-ranked Michigan State. Now, Purdue is just a 3-point underdog. So, guys, we saw the Boilers pull the upset on Iowa a few weeks ago. That's the question. Can they do it again today? Do you like them at +3?
This is not one of my top 5 favorite plays of the day, but I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not mad at the Boilermakers right here. Getting 3 at home, and the weather is just Big Ten weather, right?
Is.
It's a little cold. There's a little frost on the ground. And anytime Purdue plays as an underdog, they seem to play better. Whenever you think Purdue is going to win, that's when they run into troubles, at least from a betting perspective. I do not have this in my official picks today, but I'm not above putting a little bit on the Boilers, getting 3 in this spot. This feels like the type of game that if Purdue can get the ball to their playmakers, they got a shot in this one.
I came into that game thinking the same. It almost was on my pick list. It was like 7th or 8th. 3 weeks ago, you picked Purdue. They won easily. Last week, I picked Purdue. They won easily against Nebraska. Then there was a guy that I know that seems to know a lot about football. Maybe we'll see something from him later that told me I shouldn't probably do that. So I ran away because I do not have the confidence to ever fade that guy.
So here's the thing that I'm thinking. Last week, Michigan State's got this big win. They beat Michigan. Everybody in campus is telling them how great they are. All the sorority girls are wanting to go out and hang out with the football players. It's a party. Then the college football playoff comes out.
Right.
They're in the mix. They got a shot here. They're looking ahead to bigger and better things. And this is what we call a trap game. Road game at West Lafayette. Odds makers know. In theory, this should be a bigger number, but odds makers know that this is going to be a close one. I'm not above picking the Boilers in this one.
Ooh, trap game. I like that. You got to look out for that. Should we talk about my Hoosiers? All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Somebody has to.
Is this? Hey, I
Somebody
wore a
has
basketball shirt. Are we talking basketball yet? Because why would we talk about Indiana
Actually,
football?
we will. We're going to touch on that coming up.
Later.
But first, staying in the Big Ten, Indiana also taking on a highly ranked team from Michigan, and they travel to face the Wolverines later tonight. Now, Hoosiers are a near 3-touchdown underdog against number 7 Michigan. IU has lost 4 straight, but they did cover in a road loss to Maryland last week. So do you think that they can do it again tonight at the Big House?
No clue. Can't figure either one of these teams out. Michigan is going to be so flat. They could be totally deflated. They should have beat Michigan State last week. They had the game won. They were up 16 points on their state rival. They would be in the top 5. how are they going to be pumped up to win by 3 touchdowns against Indiana? But who knows what Indiana's doing? I watch them, and it's like, oh my gosh, thank goodness there's 7 other games I can watch right now, and it's not 1990, and I've got to stick to Keith Jackson and whatever's going on here. So, Hammer, do you have any thoughts?
I think McKinzie answered her own question here. If you're excited that you got a backdoor cover against Maryland, that tells you all you need to know about the current state of your program here. Indiana has yet to beat a real Division I program, an FBS school. The 2 wins they have this year, Western Kentucky and Idaho. But Scott's right. You have no idea what to expect from Michigan here. This is a pass from me because Michigan could be angry and hang 50 on the Hoosiers, or they could come out flat and IU could somehow find a way to make this thing interesting. Indiana beat them last year, but that feels like that was 10 years ago.
It does.
This is a hard pass from me.
Okay, hard pass. Let's get to some picks, shall we? Let's do the first bets of the day. Hammer, we'll start with you.
Let's do it. Let's keep it in the Big Ten here, and I'm going with Penn State. Now, if anybody saw Maryland last week against Indiana, you might be saying, well, that's an offense that might be able to put some points up. I like to remind you that was a home game, and that was against a defeated, deflated Indiana team. An Indiana team whose defensive reputation lately has been a lot better than the actual team itself. So I will lay the 10 here with Penn State. Penn State, a better coach, a better quarterback, a better team. There's nothing Maryland does that's anywhere close to what Penn State can do. I will lay the 10 here. I got the Nittany Lions here. My friend from Iowa is now roaming around the bar area.
Well, I was getting a drink.
7 minutes into
I'm sorry. I apologize. I did a shot, and I was like, I didn't.
The over-under was 7 minutes before somebody would take a shot.
That's right. Hey, I went on that.
Well, and I hit the prop. So it's great when the prop's on you.
That's
you
right.
can really manipulate the market. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. I generally on the college picks, I don't. I love today Penn State.
Look at this.
Penn State
He's fading you so hard already.
Who did you have?
I had Penn State too.
Oh my gosh! Now can I rethink this? No. You're right. Penn State has 2 things going on here. First off, this is probably the last time that James Franklin is going to play Maryland. Let's be truthful. He's going somewhere else. He'll probably go to USC, might go to LSU. Who knows where he might wind up? But I think everybody's kind of tired a little bit at Penn State. They kind of overvalue their own program. This is a massive recruiting battle game.
Yes.
Because Maryland is hoping to get some of the strays from Penn State. They need to pick off 1 or 2 every once in a while. Last year, Maryland and Penn State were very tight in that game. I believe Maryland might have even won. That was during Penn State's really bad stretch that they had, COVID season. James Franklin loves to run up a score on somebody.
Yes, he does.
And this team, Maryland, hasn't played a good game since Iowa embarrassed them on a Friday night, 51-14. And I really love Penn State in this sitch.
All right. Well, hey, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, Notre Dame's playing today, you guys.
Oh,
yes.
You're a fan
Oh,
of the
wow,
show.
look
You've
at
watched
that.
us since Forget. We appreciate you. Get that job. Hey, Notre Dame fans, we didn't forget about you. We're going to discuss the Golden Domers' battle with Navy. Plus, we'll get the guys' thoughts on the current college football playoff odds. That's all coming up next. All I need to bet, still going anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're so happy that you're here. All right, here we go. It wouldn't be a true college football season without Notre Dame taking on one of the service academies. I mean, pretty much, right? That's exactly what the 10th ranked Fighting Irish will do this afternoon when they welcome Navy to South Bend. Now, Notre Dame is a 21-point favorite, over under set at 47. Guys, now if you were placing a bet on this game, what would it be? Lay it on us.
Not to. Don't place a bet on this game because clearly Notre Dame is the better team here, right? And it's not even close. But Notre Dame is not one to run the score up, especially against a service academy, a team that they play every year. I believe Notre Dame just signed on to play Navy overseas in Ireland one more time in the upcoming years. So they have a good relationship with Navy. Notre Dame knows they're going to win this game. Plus, if you're looking at the total, the over-under here, Navy's going to want to run the ball. Notre Dame's going to want to run the ball. That clock is going to tick. So it's a mix of, do you think Notre Dame is 21 points better? I do. But are you going to run out of time to cover it because it's going to be be a run-heavy football game. Because of all those reasons, it's a pass for me.
Scott, what do you say?
I would just quickly speak to Navy played Cincinnati recently. Was that last week? Was it the week before? It was one of the last 2 weeks. I do a lot of research for the show. Actually, I do. It just doesn't stay here.
Sometime in the last decade.
Yeah, I lost it sometime in traffic in the marathon. But what I will tell you is, I don't think Navy can stay within 7 of a good team again. That was kind of like their big surprise game. I don't think they can do it week after week. They just don't have the depth. They don't have the size. Notre Dame will probably run over them, but 21, the odds makers know what they're doing almost every other time that I do this show. But there's a couple examples where we're going to find where they don't, and that's what we need to talk about.
Yes, well, speaking of Notre Dame, just like Scott sneaks to the bar, the Irish snuck inside the top 10 of the college football playoff committee's initial rankings, now which were released earlier this week. You can see the top 4 right there on the corner of your screen. I'll hopefully get this up. Okay, here we got Georgia 1, Alabama 2, Michigan State 3, Oregon 4. Here are the 4 teams that are currently on the outside looking in, along with their odds to make the playoffs. Okay, guys, which one of these contenders do you see the most value in, would you say, right now?
Now, first of all, I've heard a lot of people complaining about Cincinnati.
Yes.
How they've been left out. Because they're not in a power conference, they've been left out. And plus 175, that's not a lot of juice on Cincinnati there. Because if you're a Cincinnati fan, look at the teams that are ahead of you. A lot of them have to play each other. You know Auburn and Georgia are going to meet in the SEC championship game. I'm sorry, Alabama and Georgia will meet in the SEC championship game. Michigan State and Ohio State will have to play each other. So there's room for you to go up. Cincinnati fans pump the brakes a little bit here. If I'm looking for the best value, don't sleep on Oklahoma, plus 130. They're going to win the Big 12. They might be undefeated. You will not see a Big 12 undefeated champion left out. Again, not a lot of juice there, but we're at that point in the season. If you can just get positive money, then you're going to be happy with that. Michigan has no shot. Take them out of the equation.
You're right. I said it again,
what?
twice.
Are there
That's what I'm talking about.
In the studio?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oklahoma is the one if you're going to bet on any of them, I don't think any of them are a great bet. I don't think you're saying it's a great bet.
No.
But the rest of the Big 12 is kind of, and Oklahoma's not that great, to be truthful. That's why they're so far down. But they do have the most talent. They're the only ones that probably can run the table. Ohio State will probably be in it, but you're getting nothing out of that.
All right.
You just need a team that's going to be in that Final Four.
Yeah.
You get in the Final Four, you got a shot.
I love it. Well, let's talk about shots. Scott, let's start with you. Let's do some more bets. Let's do some more picks.
So I have been fading Clemson
Okay.
all year
All right.
until last week. And then last week, Clemson had no reason to win. Scott had Clemson.
You won that game because of that? Come on.
Minus 9.5.
Come on.
He didn't buy us a thing.
Oh my gosh! And you should have saw my daughter on the autism spectrum, who's my football buddy, which I'm running around the house like a maniac because it's
beautiful.
It's the worst bad beat of all time, pretty much.
And you won
I won it. That is
Nobody
great
ever
beat.
wins those games, and you won it.
I'll always remember that. And she's like, "Did you win?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I love you, Daddy." And she's like, "I'm like, I love everyone." So I continue to love Clemson. Why do I love them? Because Louisville, there's such a big talent disparity. I just feel 4 points. They'll do it.
Okay. What about you, Hammer?
I'm going to go to the SEC, where it just matters more. Texas A&M and Auburn. This is a game that's in Texas A&M, a game that's in College Station, and history has shown when these two teams get together, you can throw the point spreads out because they really don't matter. The money line is kind of where you want to go if you're an Auburn bettor, because history has shown that either the underdog's going to win big or the favorite's going to win big. Spreads haven't really mattered a lot over the years. I'm going to get a little extra value, though, by laying 4.5. I think Texas A&M wins. It's a tough place to go in and win a game. I think they win by more than 4.5. I will scoop up Texas A&M here, and we'll lay 4.5.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to place a bet, then we're going to head back to the bar. In the meantime, coming up next on All Indiana Bets, the guys are going to make their specialty picks. We have Scott with his long shot. We got this one, Hammer, with the Degenerate special on your side. We'll be right back.
The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
He gets a little giddy every time he sees that, every time he hears
See
that.
how big the word long is there when it says a long shot? It's long and it's strong, and he's down to get the money on.
Yes.
So, I love it. All right, it's time for the long shot. It's Scott's favorite segment, hopefully yours too. Basically, he gives us his favorite underdog play of the week to make you some money. All right, so he told you to take Purdue plus the points last week. We know that one hit. Scott, which dog do you like this time?
People on the streets ask me, how do I come about with my gambling choices? I mean,
No, they don't.
No, they do. They asked me at
Other than
Marsh to
family?
share. What I would share with you is a lot of times I do tons of research, but every once in a while I take a pick for the story. Like you do something like for the story.
Sure.
And this is about the girlfriend of the tight end coach at Texas named Danielle Banks, who is an exotic dancer in her past, whose nickname was the Pole Assassin. Now,
You just wanted to say pole assassin
oh my
on
gosh,
the show.
they just pulled away from me. That's what Wish TV did on that camera shot. Get back to me. The story does not end yet. So there's going to be a Halloween party that she invites all the kids in the neighborhood to go to. And of course, she's the pole assassin. She's Danielle Banks. She's got emotional support monkeys in cages in the backyard.
I'm sorry, she has what?
Wait, say
You
what?
heard that. Emotional support monkeys in the backyard.
This is a true
Facts?
story.
All
yes.
of it is true, factual. I only bring the facts. I am the real news here. Eat that, Sanchez. I know you're watching. Okay, so what I would share with you, a child gets bit. There's a big story about it.
By
What
a
is this?
monkey?
Yes.
Or by the
support
stripper.
monkey?
No,
Who
not-
bit the child? The
I
monkey or the
said-
stripper?
The monkey did, and I don't know how you would discipline a monkey. I don't know if you take away their iPad, but you don't spank it. So what I would tell you is take Texas 6.5. They have that kind of. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna send my children to play football at Texas. Sounds more exciting.
Pole assassin, spanking monkeys. By the way, behind the camera we have Lindsay. It's her very first day here on the show. She's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Lindsay, I feel that way every single day. And you're going to love this one because now it's time for Hammer's favorite segment. We call it the Degenerate Special.
Yes.
These are the games only degenerate gamblers like Hammer are putting real money on. All right, so Jason, which
Hey,
directional
I
mix
just
in?
told the degenerate story.
Yes.
That was at the pole assassin.
There's nothing I can do degenerate-wise that's going to trump a service monkey biting kids on Halloween that may or may not be owned by a stripper who's dating the coach of Texas. That's phenomenal. So all I'm going to do is tell you UAB. UAB is going to defeat Louisiana Tech, who lost last weekend to Old Dominion. Old Dominion hasn't beaten a Division I program probably since McKinzie was in diapers, and Louisiana Tech lost to them last weekend. Lay 2 touchdowns with UAB. I don't think there's any monkeys or strippers involved here, but it's just a good bet.
I like it a lot. All right, so it's time for another break. Our producer's like, no. Stick around, though. Our best bets and Hammer's balling on a budget parlay. All of next.
The Best Bet is brought to you by Evan Williams. Bourbon done right.
Why are you laughing?
We got a talking to during commercial break.
Yeah, I guess I'm not supposed to talk about monkeys anymore on the show.
Or pole assassins.
Or who owns the monkey?
So we're rolling right along. Jason Hammer, Scott Long. Okay, they've already given you a few plays for week 10 of college football season, but now it's time for our best bets. Now, these are the picks Hammer and Scott feel strongest about, so you want to write these down to make some money. Hammer, you go first.
All right, so I'm looking at the Big Ten here. We got Wisconsin and Rutgers. The over-under is set at 37.5 here. I feel like Wisconsin's kind of turned a corner. They had a real rough start to the beginning of the season. They had that sloppy loss to Notre Dame up in Chicago. But ever since that Purdue game, Wisconsin's offense seems to have turned the corner a little bit. I feel like they're capable of maybe getting 30 on their own here. If you get just a little help from Rutgers, your toes are tapping here. This is a very doable 37.5, and I am going to ride the lightning, and we're going over.
All right, I like that a lot. Scott, what you got?
I like that one too.
What is happening today?
I don't know.
You
I
two
I feel
never
weird.
agree.
Normally it's Devil Woman over here that's mean to me, and like I
I only
expect
told
that.
you smell like garbage twice.
Yeah,
Twice.
Yeah, that was off air, so that was classy. My best bet, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I have been telling you basically since the coach got fired at USC, the team doesn't care. I've won twice on betting against USC. Arizona State just dropped the biggest, load of garbage up in Pullman and Washington State last week. I'm just telling you, Arizona State will probably win by about 3 touchdowns this game.
Oh.
USC lost Drake London. He's their only superstar game breaker player. So take that. It's not my favorite bet of the year. This week was one of those all 5 are around the same place weeks, but I still like this one best.
All right, I like that a lot. Hey, I wore this tuxedo dress because it's time to get crazy. You guys want to get crazy?
You want to get nuts? You want to
Let's
get nuts?
Let's get nuts. All right, those are pretty safe. This next one's for those of you who want to get a little nuts with us. It's Hammer's Ballin' on a Budget parlay.
So again, if you don't have a lot of money, you can take $5 and have a full day of college football rooting interest here. $5 to win 60, and this is what we're looking at here. Ohio State, minus 14.5. You mentioned earlier, some coaches like to run up the scores, some don't. Ohio State loves to run up the score, and when you've got them as a 2-touchdown favorite, that's what you need. We're also looking at the under, SMU at Memphis here, 70.5. Now, this year, when you've seen over-unders at 70 and even 80 one time, they've all gone under. So let's keep it going there with the under. Penn State, minus 10, taking care of business. We talked about that a little bit earlier. That's another coach that will be more than happy to put a beat down on somebody. And this is what we're looking at here. This is just a couple bets you can make. $5, that's all it takes, and you can win 60. Brag to your friends about how smart you are. We're gonna get rich, kids. Let's go.
You gotta love it. You can still be a baller.
I just need to share a little piece of truth. My 5th pick was not Texas, Iowa State. I just wanted to tell the monkey story. I like Texas, but I loved SMU and Memphis under. That was one of my best bets, but I changed my mind for the story.
It was worth it.
And it was worth it. That's what our show is about.
That's what it's about.
Entertainment is as important as my 29-17 record. Okay, go ahead.
Which is fantastic.
It's just a little flex in there, that's all. Well, coming up next, college basketball season starts next week, and Purdue is one of the favorites to win it all this year. We're going to discuss that, plus the prospects for Indiana and Butler, and feeling it or faking it up next.
All Indiana Bets is presented by Lunazul Tequila. Feed the wolf.
All right, there you are. We miss you when you go away. All right, so last week we introduced you to a new segment we like to call Feeling It or Fading It here on All Indiana Bets. Guess what? We're bringing it back today to talk a little college hoops. All right, you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's get a little basketball going on here. Here we go.
Fun. Okay, we're gonna dip our toes. Here we go. Okay, first up, with the college basketball season just a few days away, Purdue is a Final Four favorite. Boilers are currently listed at plus 450 to make it down to New Orleans in the spring. Now, Scott, I want to know, are you feeling or fading the Boilers to make it to the Final Four for the first time in over 4 decades?
Just for the viewers, the best sport to bet on is college basketball because there's so many games going on that Vegas isn't on top of everything always. Smart, the smart money goes into that sport, then college football. I'm gonna feel the Purdue Boilermakers.
All right, I like
they
that.
haven't made the Final Four, I think, since 1980. I think Jaden Ivey's the best player Purdue has had since Glenn Robinson, the big dog.
Whoa.
And Purdue has 2 high-level big men, so if one gets hurt or one gets in foul trouble, you've got someone that's just as good coming in. So I'm feeling Purdue at the Final Four.
Are you feeling it? That's the question.
I'm fading it.
You're fading it.
And listen, Purdue's going to be really good. Purdue might win the Big Ten. But what we saw last year, and I know it was a very bizarre March Madness, all in one city, centrally located.
Right.
The Big Ten, they beat up on each other in the regular season. But then when they get into the tournament, and you have to play against teams with different styles, teams you don't know too much about, or maybe you have officials who don't call the game as physical as you're used to playing, it's a problem. Big Ten laid an egg last year. This is why I'm fading Purdue. I like Purdue. They might win the Big Ten. They could be a #1 seed in the tournament, but I'll fade Purdue just because I haven't seen enough in the Big Ten to warrant that.
Fade them just because. I like that. Okay, so Purdue, obviously one of the favorites to win the Big Ten, as well as the Boilers, are listed as plus 330. Meanwhile, you can currently get Indiana at plus 1400 to win the conference title under the new head coach, Mike Woodson. All right, so Hammer, are you feeling or fading Hoosiers at that number?
Man, I feel like I'm going to be Debbie Downer here, but I'm fading this too.
He's like, fade them all.
I'm fair and I'm balanced. I'm equal opportunity. I'm fading Purdue and I'm fading Indiana. Again, Indiana's going to be better now that they actually have a head coach who, one, is old enough to drive, and two, knows what he's doing. I think they're going to turn the corner, and he's finally going to install the values of what Indiana basketball should be, find the right fits, that kids that are willing to play defense, actually. But we're still a couple years away from that. They've got an All-American. They're going to be better, but let's pump the brakes right here on winning the Big Ten.
Scott, what do you say?
Well, I'm fading it too, but I want to put a little spin on it. Like, take McKinzie, a grad of IU.
Proud Hoosier over
Proud
here.
Hoosier.
Wouldn't you like, isn't $10 or $5 worth getting that kind of odds for the story? The whole season, or at least 2/3 of the Big Ten season, you're still in the race, you have a chance. You're like, wow, I could have spent $10 and made 140 or something. So if you're an IU fan, you got a chance at least. You're going to make the tournament this year. You have competent coaching, a guy who's not afraid of the media. I'm fading it myself.
What the plot twist? All right.
So you're telling McKenzie to spend her money on it, but you're not going to touch any of your hard-earned money on it.
Yes, that's
what are we
what
doing?
I do. That's
what are we doing here?
I should be in the stock market.
That's what he does to me. Last one coming off a disappointing season, the Butler Bulldogs looking to bounce back in the Big East. You can currently find the Dogs at plus 2,000 to win the conference title. Now, Scott, is Butler worth a flyer at that number?
They are worth me wearing the shirt.
Whoa!
Oh, okay.
Whoa,
All
whoa,
right.
About college basketball. I love the Butler. Butler is everybody's second favorite team in the state, pretty much,
That's
right?
true.
Right.
That's true.
You
That's
know,
fair.
Everybody likes Butler. They do things right. I love their coach.
Yes.
LaVall Jordan. I've done actually interviews with him. The Scott Long Sports Show on ISC Sports Network. That I don't think it's on anymore. Point is, don't do that though. They cannot compete with Villanova or Connecticut. You're throwing your money away, but enjoy the games.
Oh, Nova. Jay Wright, right? The coach?
He is.
Oh, he's so sexy. He's like my favorite. He's my coach crush, which we'll get to. You guys know my
Okay,
favorite. He's
well,
so well dressed.
should I tell you that my one of my friends from high school played for him in college?
And?
I can introduce you to Jay Wright, possibly.
And was he? Did you like him? Was he solid? Yeah.
I'm fading Butler. Good night, everybody.
All right, coming up, he's up to 12 wins in a row, picking college football games. Here on Indiana Bets. Will
He's
the
won
Cash
12
Man-
games in a row.
Will his hot streak continue? We don't know. We'll
Cash
find
Man.
out. Cash Man's up next.
Hey, welcome back to All Indiana Bets, everyone. This is the Wise Guys segment. My name is Peter Hood. That is the Cash Man, Alan Cashman, and like DJ Khaled, all this man does is win. 12 in a row, picking college football games here on All Indiana Bets. He is now, 14-2 on the season, Cashman?
Yep, 14-2 on the show here.
Winning percentage speaks for itself. Listen up, pay attention. Sir, what do you have for us this week?
All right, my favorite play of the college football weekend, I'm going to take Central Florida minus 12. Now, I bought a half a point off of that 12.5. Tulane's defense, really bad. They're going to be at Central Florida. Tulane allowing 503 yards per game their last 4 games. They're number 125 in the nation in yards and 127 in points allowed on defense. That's out of 130 teams, so they're not very good. Tulane 1-5 against the spread, their last 6 on the road. UCF took last year's meeting 51-34. So I'm going to take UCF minus 12 for 1.5 units.
Yeah, Green Wave have certainly struggled this year, to say the least, especially recently. All right, man, you went Michigan State last week. They were able to come back and win that game straight up against Michigan. You're going back to Sparty this week, correct?
Going back to Sparty, we're going to proceed with caution. We're going to go 1 unit. You know, Spartan's a big win in a rivalry game last week. Possible letdown spot, but they've got a path now to the Big Ten championship and then they get that a path to the national championship. So they ought to be ready. I don't think there's going to be any loss of focus. Purdue, you look at them, they're +7 in turnovers in the 2 wins that they've had over Iowa and Wisconsin. The rest of the season, they're -8 in turnovers. The rest of those other games, they don't run the ball very well. They're only getting 48 yards per game rushing at home. This Michigan State offense is going to be the best offense that they face this season. I think Kenneth Walker for the Spartans is going to have a pretty good day. I think Michigan State just does too many things better than what Purdue does. So I'm going to take Michigan State in this one, -3 for 1 unit.
Yeah, Spartans, one of the best teams in the country this year and one of the best teams against the spread in the country this year as well. And one of the best college football handicappers in the country is right here. Alan, tell the people how they're wondering, you're hot as heck on this show. How do they get your picks on a daily basis?
Go to my website, become a member, thecashmanwins.com. $1 a week, 1 year, $52. That gets you access to everything for the next year that I send to my clients. So go to thecashmanwins.com. Feel free to ask me any questions that you may have through the website there.
That's the Cash Man. He's on fire, going to try to stay that way this week, and he'll be back here next week on All Indiana Bets.
All right, nicely done. The Cashman is on fire.
He is hot as heck.
And how about our new producer? A lot of people don't
Hot
know
as
this,
heck.
but Peter, our new producer, used to be the kid from Jerry Maguire.
I love
So
him
we're
for that
happy to have
show.
him
We
on
did
the show.
find his doppelganger, and I will take credit. Actually, yes, that's pretty impressive. Little side by
cute
side. He's
guy.
a cute kid.
But can we go back to the Cash Man for a second?
Yeah.
He had an undefeated month in October.
Incredible.
Undefeated
Insane.
month. So when you watch this show, you win money. So make
Yeah.
sure you watch this show every Saturday and Sunday
Yes.
because we're giving you ways that you can get ahead.
People can't believe we get a drink, we get to make money. This is like the gig of a lifetime. All right, let's get to some final bets.
This is a team that I have been riding the coattails on all year long. The Fighting Flames of Liberty. Now, Hugh Freeze really wants to put some numbers up here against Ole Miss. There's a little backstory there. After the lecture we got earlier about Scott's story in Texas, I don't feel like I should go into it, but there's a relationship between Liberty's coach, Ole Miss, and some things that maybe shouldn't be on a college campus. So for that very reason, you're going to get the absolute best Liberty has to offer, and Liberty has NFL talent in skill positions here. I don't know if they win this game, but with 9 points, Scott Long, help me out. Give me Liberty
Or give me death.
Let's go Liberty, the Fighting Flames with the 9.
Woo! All right, Scott, what about your final bet?
Well, I like that
I
one.
mean, can you even top
Yeah, it's
that?
hard to even hold back, but I'll just tell you, Coach Freeze, he likes an emotional support date.
Is that a thing?
Yes, it is.
Apparently the recruits like it too.
Yeah, so this is, you heard Alan talk about the Cash Man and how you should go with UCF. I was so thrilled when I saw he picked this. I'm not going to have as good a reasons as him. Here's my reason now. He picked him.
The Cash Man hitched his wagon to it.
You might as well just put a win in my categories here. Put it in the ledger, UCF, and then we'll check my other 4 picks later.
I like that. All right, thanks, you guys. Hey, coming up next, we already went to the bar. We're going to take you with us downtown. We're headed to O'Reilly's Irish Bar for an amazing day with Elijah Craig. On the Rocks is on the other side of the break.
On the Rocks is brought to you by Elijah Craig Small Batch Bourbon.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to On the Rocks. My name is Brent Holberson with Heaven Hill Brands, and today come to you from the beautiful O'Reilly's Pub in downtown Indianapolis, one of their 3 locations. And I've had a great day so far, but we're going to have a cocktail made by Mr. Reitz here. The amazing day, and I'm looking forward to it. Joel, Bernie, how are you guys?
Great. With the caramel and cherry notes in the Elijah Craig bourbon, we're going to mix it with little vanilla, cinnamon, maple syrup, and Hawaiian coconut water.
Sounds good, Bernie.
A lot going on there. The Reverend would be proud to be with all those ingredients. Elijah Craig, named after Elijah Craig, who was a Baptist preacher who came from Virginia to Kentucky and actually founded Georgetown College in Kentucky. And it's a wonderful small batch bourbon. Traditional recipe with rye, 8 to 12 years old. That depth and complexity is going to come out in those ingredients.
There you are, gentlemen. Nice and frothy. Have an amazing day.
That is an amazing day. There
Look
you
at
go,
that
Brent.
presentation, that service. Let's see how she holds up here. Oh, wow. Talk about a good day getting better, Bernie. That is an amazing day right there. Ladies and gentlemen, come back and join us next time on The Rocks. Cheers.
And I happen to make one of these bad boys. We got a full bar back here, which, again, feels like that was a really risky, borderline bad idea from the fine folks at Wish TV.
You know who supports it, though? Brent of Heavenly Hill.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for being the patron saint of this show when others weren't ready to jump on, including some of the people that work here.
Right.
And now everyone loves it. As long as we don't go to the
I can't
lunchroom.
believe we get this awesome booze on this show.
Yeah.
So let's get to some picks here. This is what I had lined up throughout the show. This is where we're going to make our money today. Penn State -10 taking on a bad Maryland
Winner.
team. That's a winner. Texas A&M at home laying 4.5. A lot of the experts are on Auburn. That's why I'm going Texas A&M. Most of these people on these national TV shows don't know their backside from a hole in the ground when it comes to actual point spreads and betting. Degenerate special, UAB, that's less than 2 touchdowns against a team that lost to Old Dominion last week. Wisconsin-Rutgers over 37.5. I like the direction of this Wisconsin offense. Just need a little help from Rutgers. And give me Liberty or give me death. +9 against Ole Miss.
Man, I should be doing community theater. Where are my picks? Let's go. Penn State, it's a winner. We already talked about it. It's already won. Cash the ticket.
y'all.
Cash the ticket. Okay, what's up next? Clemson. I hate Clemson. I hate them. I think they're terrible. They've been the most disappointing team of this season, but they kind of are finding themselves. There's not one player that Clemson recruited from Louisville. Texas. Do I need to say any more? The pole assassin. There we go. That's worth 6.5+ right there.
The assassin factor.
Arizona State -9. It's about USC. They're done. All their coaches have sent out their resumes. And Drake London, the only reason you would bet on him is gone. UCF, I had lots of great reasons. It's basically I picked him because Tulane is just falling apart. They played well against Oklahoma at the start of the year. But the Cash Man picked him too.
The Cash Man, big, hairy American winning machine.
Every time the Cash Man and I have picked a game together, we both won. You know why? Because he wins every game anyway. So if I pick one with him,
he's on a 12-game heater, the Cash Man. All right, McKenzie's going to give you her Mick pick when we come back. Do not go anywhere. This is All Indiana Bets.
All Indiana Bets, presented for the people, powered by Caesars Sportsbook.
All right. You heard everyone else's picks. Now it's time for mine, and I start with 2 words. Kansas stinks. The Jayhawks have only covered in one of their 8 games this season. It's the truth. And in a game where in-state recruiting is at stake, don't look for Kansas State to show any mercy. And I'm thinking, really all I had to say was Kansas State.
Kansas
It's
stinks.
the truth. Lay the 24 and take K-State. That's my pick, short and sweet.
How's that drink treating you, McKenzie?
Really
Because
good.
again, when I make these drinks, and again, I still can't believe I get paid to bartend with this awesome array of beverages we have back here from Heaven Hill.
It's
you guys
delicious.
are like the 2 old Muppets in the balcony usually, where you're very critical of every single drink that I make.
Well, what did we say? It's cinnamon. It's like a breakfast. It's like Nick Cage's breakfast in a glass.
This is something Nick Cage would drink in leaving Las Vegas. It's a little sweet, it's really good, and we're doing it before noon.
And we're getting loose because we like to make money and have fun. That's what the show's all
I just
about.
got a flash of Elizabeth Shue, my all-time favorite. She was in Leaving Las Vegas and Cocktail.
Cocktail.
She is perfect for this show.
We've talked about this before. Like, how angry would you be now at this stage in your life if you went to that bar where Tom Cruise is flipping stuff up and he's reading poetry when all you wanted was a beer? Oh. You got to sit there and wait for him to read limericks, and all you want is a beer.
That's all you want.
Tom
I'd be into it.
Cruise.
I like it.
Yeah, I interrupt you, but I just got to say, Tom Cruise would never have been a good bartender in Beach Grove.
No.
I'm just going to tell you right now.
No.
He would get his butt kicked all, like they'd drop him off somewhere.
You're not bad back there, though. I got to say, it's all in the wrist when you're doing the shaker.
It's all in the hips and the wrist. I'm like Chubbs Peterson and Happy Gilmore. Tomorrow. We're going to do this again tomorrow.
More Chubbs Peterson tomorrow. We're excited.
We got a challenge bet tomorrow, too, that I'm going to throw.
I know they
Emma's
asked me,
way.
Kinsey, how do you feel about shaving stuff? And I'm like, what? So I'm scared to find out what this
Now,
bet's going to be.
that's a tease for tomorrow's show. Noon to 1. All Indiana bets, may the odds be ever in your favor. Good luck, everybody.
Go Penn
Cheers.
State.